Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's live stream AMA. Bob number one. Guys, I just had someone reach out to me asking for the go-ahead to post the most ridiculous meme of myself talking about Bob. So yeah, keep an eye out for your creators because anyways, I laughed very hard. I showed everyone around me and they had no idea what it was because they didn't know what Bob was. But anyways, yeah. Okay, we need to adjust. My room is not crooked. I swear. This is a straight line. However, the roof is slanted, right? So it goes up and it just makes it look like that on camera. I don't know. It's whatever. Guys, I live in a weird alternate universe. Anyways, Luke is late. So this is your opportunity. What do we want to discuss? What do we want to talk about? Spill the tea. He's not here. Let's see. We all love Bob. Yes, we do love Bob. Excited for this new update. Yeah, it's been a cool one. And we'll talk about it a little bit more. But yeah, this is just like in early stages, like kind of like beta testing out what it's going to look like. So confirming Luke still in high-low machine. I think he's showering, if I'm being honest, which he loves to do right before the AMA. If you guys have been around here for a while, my gosh, talk about Conrad. Guys, the new episode of The Summer I Turned Pretty comes out tonight, like in 3 hours. Okay, so I won't be online. I'm gonna be watching that as soon as it comes out. I'm so excited. Yeah, sorry for everyone that has no idea what that is. It's just this TV show, and I honestly only watched it over the weekend and became really obsessed. Okay, when chapter 3? Good question. I think it's gonna come in October. Don't hold me to that. But it's coming along quite nicely. I was just doing he brought himself up. Maybe we didn't want him up yet. We're talking behind his back, At least he's clean, right? Okay, sorry, back to chapter 3. So we're thinking October. It should be coming along. We're just, it seems like a lot of the functionality and the design has been built out, and now it's just in QA and also polishing, right? So making it look pretty and fun. Team Conrad, right? I have never swayed. Not Jeremiah for 1 second. Team Conrad the entire way. Okay.
I literally have no idea what this Team Conrad thing is.
It's a TV show. It's called The Summer I Turned Pretty. It's fine. A new episode is dropping in like 3 hours. I was just telling everyone, I'll tell you too, I will not be online. I will be watching it. So
I'll be online. It's okay.
Oh man, beginning or end of October. Well, maybe I like to not say these things so that we don't have a new 2 to 4 weeks experience. Okay, just be happy with October. Hopefully. Okay.
Yeah, October seems reasonable and realistic. Like basically all that we're finishing up now is art and polish. And we want to kind of make it easy to understand also. So that's kind of the other that's the other thing as well. We want to make sure that a lot of people are understanding how to play it. That's okay, easy to do. Yeah.
I was moving on to another question, just like completely ignoring that you were talking. Go on.
Yeah, I was boring anyways. I mean, so with chapter 3, it's like the core functionality of this done. Let's kind of explain to you guys like what we're thinking with it and how it's kind of going to go. So chapter 3 is going to feel more like a feature than it does something crazy and completely new. Even though it will be a totally different type of gameplay than what you guys are used to. But we don't want to overhype it. The goal of chapter 3 was we wanted to get something out quicker, right? So if you remember, we didn't start working on chapter 3 that long ago. We only started working on it like 2 months ago, right? And the idea was we wanted to get out new types of gameplay that we could start to experiment with quicker. And, chapter 2 and fixing chapter 2, that took a long time, right? And what we want to start to do is we want to start shipping quicker, doing smaller bets at a time, and learning from these chapters a lot quicker too. So yeah, it's not going to be this like crazy thing, but we really like how it's coming up. We hope it goes well. We hope you guys like it. A lot of what we're going to be focused on is polish with it, art. And then chapter 3, when it comes out, and the way that we could probably make the game feel a lot different, we'll be transparent with it too, is that's probably when we're going to start to switch up and really start to experiment more with different types of earnings, right? So this is maybe when we start to move reliance from Taskboard into other systems. Honestly, ideal situation is that more people do chapter 3 than they do Taskboard every single day. That would be a great end goal for us. Now, we're not going to do anything drastic when we actually release it initially. Like, for example, if we do decide that we want to, change up earnings in the game and where they're coming from in the game, what we could do is yeah, there's a giant cow behind me. What we could do is we could kind of gradually start to decrease earnings coming from Taskboard and move them into the other systems. Like, for example, chapter 3 likely will have some earn element to it. It'll be a little more risk to earn, but not crazy. We'll experiment a little bit with the model as we have chapter 3 out. Chapter 3 will be, unlike sports, like running forever, right? There might be like downtime here and there. But it's supposed to be an ongoing new feature that we're releasing. And yeah, that will actually probably change the way that the game feels pretty drastically if we start to move earnings. Like, imagine if your day-to-day in Pixels is no longer always Taskboard, or at least you can always still do it if you want. But if you're earn motivated, then your day-to-day will probably switch up a little bit. So that's the idea there. That's what we're thinking. We're trying to do it a lot quicker, get something out that is playable sooner, and then iterate with the new playable as quick as we can.
I really like that Pendeco is the one apologizing for interrupting when I'm the one that brought up the comment. But yeah, sure, you can take the blame. That's fine. I also just thought this is so funny, preventing the cow from Chuck. Collector of cows. Okay, yeah, I didn't start today's AMA like we normally do, just straight into the chaos. So throw your questions in the live chat. Today, we're just going to really do AMA. Like, we've got a couple things here and there that we'll talk about, but we really just want to, this is going to be a really chill AMA. AMA means ask me anything. So just throw your questions in and we'll have a really cool kind of like back and forth discussion today. I think that's the vibe. So, did you pin this or did I?
Which one? Oh, I saw that. I don't think I pinned it, but I was wondering how people. Okay, yeah, guys. I shower. Look, I shower. I do it. We all do it.
Yeah. No, they were just saying is you were late playing high or lower, and I was like, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Maybe. However. Okay, yeah, let's just dive into some questions. So, hola, buenas, todo bien, pero como steak pixels, he intentado de todo y no me da. Okay, so, lo siento, voy a hablar en inglés. So, I assume you're talking about the offer. There is an offer, and we have quickly recognized that it's a little confusing in its wording, but all you have to do is go to the staking website, which is staking.pixels.xyz, and stake a pixel, and it'll trigger it, and you're good. So I think a lot of people were confused that they have Pixel in game, which is staked. That is correct. However, the offer is specifically asking for it through the staking platform. So you'll have to do it there. And hopefully someone can translate, because I cannot say all of that in Spanish. It would be very poor.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that one should have been worded differently. Should we go stake 1 pixel rather than have 1 pixel staked? We talked to our team about it. Sorry. But that's how it works. Can't change it. So.
Okay, someone also brought this up, 2 to 4 weeks t-shirt coming soon. I feel like we should do something like this. The previous merch did have like get good on it. We snuck in like a little Pixels lore. I actually was just testing printing some new merch styles. I'm struggling though, because nothing can be as good as the one that we did before, but this one's pretty cool. There's a new design coming. Okay. I know it's been like a year and a half, 2 years. There's a new merch design coming that will be given out at events. We won't be selling it online. But I honestly just went into the store today to do some test printing. So we'll see how it goes. But I think it would be funny to do some, I don't know. I'm very deep into the brainstorming and playing around for merch for upcoming events this fall. Basically for YGG is going to be the main one that we're giving out merch at, the Play Summit. So let me know if you have ideas too. Anything like totally different. And when I say totally different, you know, not like a t-shirt or a keychain. We'll do the normal stuff too, but like if you have a cool idea, and also not too expensive because we probably need like 1,000 of them. Keep that in mind. So like any fun ideas, let me know.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll be out in Manila again and handing out some merch too eventually. So if you're
I have a whole idea for how we'll hand it out. I'm not going to leak anything yet because it's all very much like I'm meeting with an event planner. Oh, I leaked. That's a leak.
It's all right. It's all right. All right. Let's move on from like the IRL stuff. Yeah. So I'm going through some questions too. So yeah, I guess we should talk about it. This is one of the features that I want to roll out silently and not have like, you know, a big deal made about it. But obviously a lot of you saw it. So we released the first version of this new system of offers yesterday. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about the intention. Let's talk about what we think about it with the future. So to be completely honest and totally transparent, offers are a new system that we're rolling out that will dish out some earnings in the game. And not just our game, but the system will work in other games too. In fact, the tech behind it already works in any of the games that are in the Pixel staking ecosystem. There's some cool stuff that we do in the back end there. And we basically gave like an SDK to every single partner that they're integrating. And when they integrate this, they also get access to this offer system, which is awesome. And what's even cooler is, you know, when you have multiple games using the offer system becomes even better because it has more games to learn from, right? So, you know, we talk about play to earn a lot and the future of play to earn. And, you know, I'm gonna have a completely blunt and honest conversation with everybody here so that we're all on the same page about what the system is supposed to do, what the intention is behind it, and, you know, what we're thinking about with earnings moving forward too. So, you know, I obviously love play to earn. I'm still dedicated to it, and we are still building a play to earn, right? Some people are trying to say that play to earn is dead again. They're totally wrong. Here's one reason they're like totally wrong. Let me bring it up. Actually, I was on TikTok the other day. Let me see if I can pull it up. And it's funny. I literally just re-downloaded TikTok after like years of not using it because we're gonna start doing some TikTok growth soon. But I opened up TikTok the other day. Look what I saw. It like popped it. There was a pop-up on my TikTok saying, hey, you can earn money. Yeah, you can earn money. And they gave me like a little mini game, and I had to like tap all these barbecue things. And in order to get that last 60 cents, I think this is a little slimy. They said I had to go and invite a new user into TikTok, right? And they're going to pay me $27 in TikTok shop credit if I go out and invite a new user. This is literally very similar to what we're building with rewarded offers, right? So anybody that tries to tell you that play to earn doesn't work is kind of silly, because literally TikTok and Web2 games are starting to, not Web2 games, but like literally the biggest Web2 companies are starting to experiment with play to earn and rewarded offers also, right? You know, it's funny because, you know, we have other ideas and how we can make systems and rewarded offers even better than just referrals, but it's clear it's a system that is interesting to these Web2 players right now, right? And actually Web3 can make some of it better too than what they can do at all. So yeah, I still really love play to earn. We're still building a play to earn. We think we can make play to earn work. Here's why we can make play to earn work and why we think about this, and then I'll dive into offers a little bit. So I think if you've been following Pixels for a long time, you understand that a lot of what we have to work on when we're thinking about giving out rewards is making sure that they go to the right people, right? Is there a rep code on that?
I don't know. I just thought it was funny.
No, there wasn't anything. Damn it. Should have put that on.
Damn it. Did you say damn?
Oh, no, I didn't say that. I didn't say that. I said
That's
damn.
not a swear word.
But yeah, the reason why we're excited about all of this at Pixels is again, we put all of this stuff publicly, right? And take a look at some of the stuff that we've learned at Pixels lately. If you go to our staking dashboard, staking.pixels to XYZ, you can take a look that Pixels return on reward spend has been increasing a ton. And we're getting pretty close to 1 a lot of days now. And really all that we need to get over return on reward spend over 1, or basically make a sustainable play to earn game, is basically lift the revenue by 20%. And if we can keep rewards constant, or if we were able to dial back rewards 20%, or if we were able to add in credit card payments, make 20 more percent, or even that 20% can be made up by ads, then we have the sustainable play to earn as is. We're actually super close. And what's even crazier is, if you go and look at Pixel Dungeons, they're even closer most days. Look at their return on reward spend. It's basically near 1 every single day. They need a slight lift and they'll be at a sustainable level too. Now, why do we care about sustainable return on reward spend and sustainable play to earn? I think a lot of people miss the point. If we start to build out sustainable play to earn, basically we can get return on reward spend over 1. What does that mean? So was that y'all ready for this?
It was just a TikTok started playing. Someone asked if we had an official account, and we do. It's just inactive, but I was trying to get the right username. Sorry. Go on. I'm just interrupting you every 10 seconds here. So
No, it's all good. It's all good. Okay, so Pixels as an ecosystem has a budget of 28 million tokens to give out every single month, right? That's in our tokenomics. We're giving them to a couple different games. And, if our return on reward spend is under 1, we're only able to give out 28 million tokens a month. That's the max, right? Because we give out 28 million tokens and then we get 26 million back. We get 20 million back in revenue, right? Now, if we can get it over 1, then we can start scaling, right? So if we give out 20 million tokens, but we get 30 million back, next month, what we could do is we could give out 30 million tokens and hopefully get 35 or 40 back, right? And that means we can keep getting more and more users. We have more incentives to give out, and we can start growing the user base with rewarded offers, rewarded play, and play to earn. That's the flywheel that we're shooting for. And we're excited to get there. That's kind of the end goal. That is the end all be all. And it also starts to get interesting for other companies too. So if Pixels can prove that out with our games, whether it be with core Pixels, Pixel Dungeons, Sleepagachi, or the pets game that we're building out, other companies will want to be using this tech also. Basically what we can prove to them is if you add play to earn to your game, you'll make more money at the end of the day, right? Now, that doesn't maybe sound interesting to you guys, but think about it. What we can actually do here, one, is all the games that you know and love, or honestly, most of the Web 2 games or Web 3 games that you play, we can make them play to earn if we prove this out, right? So you can play the normal games that you'll be able to play normally, and you might start earning in some of these games in a game that you would never have earned in otherwise. The other cool thing too is any revenue generated, we can tie it back to the staking system too. So what we're going to probably do soon is we'll add the pets game as a game here. It's not going to go live or go fully to market soon. So we'll just have it locked, but we'll show you guys here that it's going to be joining the ecosystem. We also might start to include other lines. We might call this platform something else, right? This, play to earn tech that we're building out. It might be called, I don't even know a name. I think I was calling it Neo at one point. But it might be something called Neo. It would be another line in the staking system. You'd be able to stake to it also. And if you are part of the Pixel ecosystem, you would be able to share in how well that does as well. So that's why you should also care about it if you're in the Pixels ecosystem, right? So yeah, how does this offer system come into play? And why is this interesting? So let's talk about the offer system. Maybe what we can do. Well, I'll just go into the game now. And I'll show you what my potential offers look like. And I'll kind of explain to you guys what we're thinking. And again, all we're going to be doing is being really transparent with how it works, because we don't want to mislead anybody. We don't want to set the wrong expectations. But I'll explain it to you guys and kind of go through how it's going to go. So we have right here, this is actually called an offer wall. But you'll notice when you log in, you might also see a pop-up, right? So I think we're trying to do that so that like once a day you see the pop-up. That's like a whole other thing that we're working on, of like when to show the right kind of pop-up. But if you did get a pop-up and you haven't seen it, we have a new dashboard that you can go to. And this is what's called an offer wall. So basically it's going to be a list of tasks that we give you every single day. Not every single day. Let me go back. It's gonna be a list of tasks of available offers that you might see. And for a given player, they're gonna have different offers available to them, different rewards. And basically the end goal of the system is like no two players have the same set of tasks here or the same amount of rewards. In fact, even on some days, many players might not see any offers in their offer wall, right? As we start to make the system better and better, you might see different types of offers. But remember, this system is supposed to be a smart system. And here's the intention behind it. Really what this system is supposed to be doing so that we're all on the same page and you guys don't feel like betrayed or hurt or anything like that, just to like, again, give complete transparency, is like, this is supposed to be a return on reward spend optimizing engine, right? So like really what we're trying to do here is we're really only trying to give rewards to players who we think are going to be using the rewards in game fully and spending them. Or, we want to have players like go into certain parts of the game that we think would lead to higher like net return on reward spend, right? Here's a really good example of an offer in a different game that would make a lot of sense. Let me go to pixel.dungeons.xyz or pixeldungeons.xyz and kind of explain to you guys how they work. So Pixel Dungeons, if you guys haven't played it, I love this game. It's super fun. Let me explain to you guys how their model kind of works and how they actually generate revenue. So Pixel Dungeons, they have a couple of different options of how you play. Basically, when you go to Pixel Dungeons, you can choose a couple of different rooms where you can potentially go out and earn pixel, right? There's free rooms, there's rooms that cost 25 pickaxes, and there's rooms that cost 1,000 pickaxes. Now, here's an insight into how the monetization of a game like this works. And it's actually kind of similar to online poker, how the monetization model works too. Really, most of the revenue generated in Pixel Dungeons is generated in just this 1,000 pickaxe room, right? And same thing with poker. If you ever play online poker, or if you go to Vegas and play at poker tables, most of the revenue generated in online poker or real life poker is generated at the high stakes tables. Now the issue is, and this is a problem with casinos, online poker, and anything like that, is you need a certain number of people to actually be at the poker table for a high stakes game to even be played, right? If you are one person going to a casino and there's nobody else at the high stakes table, the casino can't run a high stakes poker game, right? And I don't like doing like the one-to-one analogies with casinos. I'm just trying to like explain to you guys the like the concept where like you can even think about this in like a normal like Web 2 game, right? Like for example, if you were going to play a first-person shooter and there was nobody else in the high skilled rooms in the first-person shooter, or if you were playing League and there were no other like plats, right? The game wouldn't be fun. You wouldn't be able to be matched up with a proper skill level. And this is an actually very interesting case where you can do an offer that is not directed at the spender, but directed at other players, right? So, what if there are, for example, like 3 people in this Pixel Dungeons room, in the high stakes room, but it's not fun with only 3 people and they need to get more people into this room. This would be an amazing time to give an offer to a bunch of other players to try to get them into this room. So it's like, okay, we need more people in this room. We're going to give, 10 people an offer to go into this room for free. That way the game feels more fun to all the players in it. And, it's a loss for them, for some players, but it might lead to like better spend in the long run. I hope that makes sense. But basically these offer systems are, at the end of the day, they're trying to, increase roars across the game. That doesn't mean that anytime that you get an offer or even a rewarded offer, that doesn't necessarily mean we're trying to get you to spend more inside of the game. We might also be trying to increase other metrics. Like we might decide that we want more players playing the game every single day. Or a really good example is with chapter 3, right? Where if we know that we need chapter 3 to work well, we need like players playing it every single day. That would be a really good time to give an offer to players to try chapter 3, right? So yeah, what we're going to be doing over the next little bit is experimenting with offers a lot. Like truthfully, the idea is to like start to get new offers out to players every single day. Now, when we say that we're going to get offers out to players every single day, that does not mean every single player will see an offer every single day, right? We're going to do a lot of stuff like A/B testing, where we might give some players one offer and some players another offer. We might give some players an offer and some players no offers. We might give some players an offer with a really large reward and some players an offer with a really small reward. What we're trying to do is we're trying to test and iterate and experiment and get a lot of interesting insights on that, right? So you guys will be a little bit of guinea pigs. You'll get rewards doing it too, so that's great for you guys, right? But that's kind of the end goal of this system, right? So what I do want to do set around expectations is don't expect to always see something here. And expect it to be like very different player to player, right? So you might even see a different reward amount depending on like different reasons, right? You might even get like the same thing, like login streak of 2 days, but you might see you have 500 coins in your offer and your friend has 100, right? The idea is one, like sometimes the variance might literally just be because we're A/B testing and testing stuff at random, right? So it might not even be because of anything that you did. It's just, we're trying to pull in some data on what's going to work and what's not. And, we'll look at like, again, this is a level of transparency that I just want to give to you guys because you are a little bit of test subjects. And I think it would be, not fair to tell you guys this. But yeah, we'll look at things like click-through rates. Like if you open the offer, like if we needed to give you more coins to open the offer to like even take a look at it or try to do it, right? Like all of this stuff will be really helpful for us to learn and understand. So this is going live. This is live in the game now, right? Expect a ton of stuff to be popping up here often. You'll see pop-ups every day, but also like remember to keep checking this too. Soon, what you'll also start to see, when I say soon in this case, here's some of the other stuff that we'll start to do also. So in Web 2 games, offers are typically just one thing. They typically are just discounts. So when a game knows that you're low on health, for example, they might show you a discount to like, revive or like buy a health pack. They try to guess when you're like, the most likely to purchase. And they show you a discount. Now, our system is different. What we're actually experimenting with is rewarded offers. The discounts, I think that is a tactic that like most games have. I think users are used to that. That's not what we're focused on in the first stages, even though maybe we'll add that in later, just because it's best practice in most games, right? But this is really what we're thinking about as our unique like selling point and like our unique feature when we're building out like really anything. Now, what's really cool about this system is we can plug it into any game really that integrates this SDK. For example, the Pets game that's coming out, that was built in Unity, and they're going to be integrating this system. It won't look like this. It'll look, aesthetically different, but they'll be integrating the same system. And what they'll be able to do is offer real money rewards through the same system. So what's cool is we can basically make any game play to earn. We can add, real money cash out to any game and, experiment with growing games that way. So that's the high level. That's kind of the play here. This was a very, 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 very difficult system to build. We've been working on this for nearly a year now. All the back end, the tech, everything that we're doing here, there's a ton of stuff going on behind the scenes. What I can say is like there's other teams now that are trying to implement something like this, but they don't have the right back end is all I'll say. There's a lot of magic that works behind the scenes to make this work. So we're pretty proud of it. And this will be a pretty big experiment as we go live. And again, the end goal here and like how we're thinking about things from the core Pixel side of things is we really think that a combination of this system and chapter 3 can help get Pixels to sustainable. And when Pixels become sustainable, that's when we can start growing the user base again. So right now you guys know, like the user base has been kind of churning, month on month. There's like less daily active players than there were 6 months ago, right? Now, the reason why we made that choice is because there was a lot of pixel emissions going out, right? And that was not really helping our goals here. Basically, we were giving a lot of rewards to players. These rewards were getting immediately sold. And we were basically not doing our job of giving incentives to the right users. And that was leading to a lot of sell pressure on the token and maybe just not what any of us all wanted together, right? So this system, combined with chapter 3, ideally will help us get to a point where we can keep giving out rewards, but also grow the user base and not hurt the token. There's 3 goals, right? Achieve sustainability. So basically make something that works and can support itself. 2, start to grow user base. And then 3, don't hurt the token while we grow user base and give out rewards. So that's what we're trying to pull off here so that we can still be able to play the earn ecosystem that stays for a long, long time. So I know I just ranted a bit. I'm sure people will have some questions. And yeah, we can dig into some of those.
Yeah, I've pinned a bunch of stuff, some comments and questions along the way, if you want to scroll through there.
Yeah, Ellie had some thoughts on poker monetization. So yeah, there are a few methods, and honestly, so the reason why we can talk about online poker economics if you guys want. But I think it's interesting because it ties into some of Web3 stuff, just because again, they're different things, right? Web3 is not casino, Web3 is not that. But when you think about user acquisition and the economics, I think there's a lot of things you can pull in and think about when you look at how those models work. So yeah, casinos online generate revenue. There's basically a few different strategies that you can go down if you were to build an online casino. And there is kind of the whale hunting where you go after high stakes tables. There is the low to mid stakes also. And then there's even a different model of social casino where you go after really, really high volume, really low spend. And some of these social casinos are actually even on App Store because, the way that they give out prizes might be a sweepstakes, and they really only expect players to buy $5 in their entire, $5 of credits in their entire lifetime. It's more players that are just playing for fun. And then they might get a prize here and there, but they're not expecting anything. Interesting model. If I was ever building anything in that space, I would probably go social casino because I think it's to me, it doesn't feel as icky. I wouldn't want to build a casino myself. But yeah, then there's the low to mid stakes, and then there's the high stakes. So high stakes definitely generates the most revenue per player, obviously. Now the issue is sometimes it's quite tricky to actually go and acquire new whales. And this is kind of a similar problem that you're seeing in a lot of crypto spaces right now. If you look at any chain, or pump fun or anything like that, you will be surprised at how few users there actually are that spend over a certain amount, right? And really the large majority of revenue in Web3 is driven by maybe I would bet pump fun revenue is driven by less than 10,000 users, right? And same thing with most Web3 games if you really look into it. The majority of the revenue, I don't want to call out another game, but there's a game on Ronin that's been doing really well. It goes after a more crypto native audience is what I'll say. It's multi-chain, and even across the chain, it's not a Ronin problem. It's not a problem like that. They have good revenue numbers. If you look at the data, that revenue is maybe driven by 20 players. And this is kind of the same thing. So the issue with the high stakes stuff is, sometimes you tap out on the number of higher spenders that would be in an ecosystem, right? And this is actually kind of something that's, Vixel Dungeons is facing too. You get some of them organically, but then you have to go out and get new high stakes users. High stakes user acquisition is extremely expensive. I think Rollbit and Stake, those online casinos, pay anywhere from $500 to $1,000 per user. It's really, really hard to get them. So that's why there's other models that go after the low to mid stakes. FanDuel or DraftKings would be an example of those ones that are real money games that go after not super high stakes users. If you're good at acquiring those high stakes users, you can do it. But yeah, what Pixels is probably trying to do, if you're bringing in analogies, is we're not going after high stakes at all. That's the Pixel Dungeon strategy a little bit, but truthfully, it's like there's some iteration there that needs to be figured out. And that's some discussions that we've been having with them where it's like, okay, when we think about user acquisition, like what are the next stages? Like we need to get more users that are not coming from just Web3, because the Web3 audience is kind of tapped right now. And the Web3 games all just trade users. They're not really converting any of the pump fun or the meme coin people into Web3 gamers. Yeah, that's a lot of weird stuff there.
Okay, I get asked this multiple times a day, which I love. I love that you guys love this event as much as we enjoyed putting it together. It was just so heartwarming and just like a really beautiful event and community time to be in the community. We won't have another UGC fair probably for like a year or so. A lot of the UGC that we used in that event was old too, right? Like we do, I can't say we don't have enough to fill it up because we do, but it would be a little different. But either way, we're not going to do a UGC fair for quite a long time, but we're going to keep using UGC when we throw events. And maybe even more so now. There's so, like, for Halloween, there's so many Halloween UGCs being submitted right now, which is so fun to see people doing it a month ahead of time, and which is smart. You're smart if you're doing that, right? Get ahead of the curve, and then you can probably get the word out about your UGC way better in time. But anyways, like, we're going to definitely use the UGC in events as we've been doing for a while now. But I also love that we have the feature now that we can like connect the marketplace directly to it. Transparently, I can't connect the marketplace directly to any UGC placed in Terravilla Central just for some botting purposes. But in other events and stuff, like, we can integrate that feature now too. So yeah, there's my little rant about that.
Okay, this is an interesting question. I'm bringing it up because, I think it's a good conversation. So Pixel Dungeons only cares about roars. They don't listen to players, and they don't care if players enjoy the game. Game became annoying. Okay, so let's dig into that a little bit. And we won't spend too much time on this. But yeah, one of the issues is when you start to add in rewards into a game, and this is something that we're trying to figure out and iterate on a little bit more, people play the game a little bit different, right? Imagine if there were no rewards at all in Pixel Dungeons. It was just you got what you maybe put in, right? Pixel Dungeons, if they didn't do things like missions or like extra incentives to go out and play the game, they would all immediately have roars over 1, right? Now, the reason why they introduce other types of missions and rewards is with the expectation that, hey, maybe we can, start to grow the user base in a way that is like more interesting than paid advertising, right? Because if they wanted to, what they could do is they could like make the game just take in like 5 to 10% rake, maybe even less, maybe like 2 or 3 is all they need. Where if you go and like put, use Vixel to go and buy pickaxes, they reserve like 5% of that. That's their cut, so that they can go out and grow the game, support it, and then the 95% goes back into the reward pool. What they do instead is like they take even a bit more of a loss, where because we subsidize them a little bit with staking rewards, right? And they use that to go out and try to make systems that would grow the game a little bit more. Now, that's been a little bit tricky, right? And one of the things that we're starting to learn is, targeting those rewards a little bit more is important. Also, when you start to add rewards where, players get used to like always being like profitable, it makes it really, really hard to make the game sustainable, right? We think we can make some of these things work, but at the end of the day, like, think about the math, right? If we have roars over 1, that does mean there are some users that are spending more than they're earning, right? It has to happen for the thing to work. Now, the issue is, and like what we think about here a lot is, who's spending, where are those spending users coming from, and who's earning too, right? Like, should the people who are spending the most earn the most, or should the people who are spending the most earn less? These are like interesting questions to ask when you actually are the ones that are distributing earnings, right? There's also some other things too, where it's like, sometimes a really highly skilled player can take all the rewards from a prize pool, and that's also not so fun to other users too. Like, it's semi-fair, but also it's like, on some level, not the greatest either. So there's experimentations with prize pools that need to happen, and like distributions of all of that also. But one of the key things we're starting to realize too is when you add in earnings into the core loop of the game, it changes the way that the game is played no matter what, right? So one of the things that we're going to be trying out with the Pets app is there's going to be earnings in there, but we're not going to have them as tied into the core loop of the game, right? So they're going to be tied to other stuff. And even like with core pixels, that's what we might start to do long run also, where there will be earnings, but maybe not through a system like Taskboard, where you play every day, you grind for 5 hours, and you expect to earn, and you expect to get ROI. Like maybe with the rewards, we're just like a lot simpler for the players who we want to like show up and like play daily. Then maybe there wouldn't be so many expectations, right? Like if we only made you play for like 10 minutes a day and we gave you less pixel, you would probably feel like you're owed less pixel, right? But I can understand why somebody who plays 5 hours a day is like, I better be profitable. I better have like ROI on my play time, because you have exchanged some of your time to go out and play the game too. So yeah, there's like philosophical questions that we're asking when it comes to earnings, like where are the right places to place them into the game? Because one of the things I think a lot of people miss is in Web3 and play to earn. I still am a full believer in play to earn. But the issue is, I don't think a fun game, if the earnings are in the right spots or in the wrong spots, will work. Like I think if you built the most fun game in the world and you place the earnings in the wrong part of the loop, I think people would say the game is not fun anymore. When you start to add earnings into the game, it depends on where you add them. It changes how the game is played drastically, psychologically. That's what we're seeing as I'm talking to a ton of Web3 games and other games that have done this too. So yeah, you got to change some of the expectations, and like also the expectations are set by where you put the earnings too. So yeah, the dungeons one is interesting because I think dungeons is super fun. But yeah, if you're playing the game with the expectation of like always winning, that also kind of doesn't work either, right? And that would be less fun if you go in playing dungeons expecting I'm going to win, I'm always going to earn, and you don't, then that does feel not fun, right?
Can you add stubs to the offer wall? Likely.
Yeah, that's a great example of one, right? So yeah, what I'll say is, there's some sensitivity to this one too, and like believe me, I understand. So we will be careful with this, but when we think about chapter 3 and we think about other parts of the game, what I will say is there's areas where there is spend that is more likely to happen than others, right? People who just do the task board loop tend to, come out earning ahead. And there's, other areas of the game where people are like more willing to spend more because it's fun to them, right? Whether it be trying to earn a pet because they have something else that they might be getting, when you're like buying a lot of decorations, right? Like these are the real sinks of the game. So it does make a lot of sense to give offers and give out potential rewards to players who do actions that lead to more net ecosystem sinks, right? And that would be a good example of one.
Where is it? I've seen a few comments of this since the update. I was going to say over the last day, obviously for the last day. And yeah, we hear you. I think this is a mobile problem, mostly like a misclick of the thumb. I think on computer it's fine. So I'm going to see about moving it down to near the bottom of the screen for mobile users. But let me know if it's a PC issue too. I don't think it's a PC issue, but just let us know.
Fun equals max earning, no risk. I mean, Chuck, you're not wrong. Like, truthfully, earning a ton without risking anything is very fun.
Sounds great.
Yeah. This is my take. That was why chapter 1 was really fun to a lot of people.
Yeah.
There was a lot of inflation, and yeah, like it was fun. It was great, but it was something that we knew that wouldn't work in the long run, so we had to change that. And that's not to say that there can't be earnings in the game that don't have risk to a user, right? Like what I think about a lot of the times is like you guys are clearly willing to do like a lot to go out and earn some pixel. Like you guys put in a lot of time, you play the game, and there's also probably other things that we could have you guys do. where we can give you some earnings that would also help grow the game and like lead to some of our goals too, right? So that's a lot of what we think about too. Like, how do we align this? Like, you know, referrals is a good example, but I think you can do better than just referral systems. But if we like, imagine if we just moved all of our Pixel rewards into referrals, right? I don't think that is the right idea. And I don't think that is like what we're not going to do that. But just imagine a world where I like to picture extreme sometimes. Imagine we just put all of our earnings into referrals. Like there would be a lot of you grinding, trying to get new referrals. There would also be like a ton of abuse there, all of that. But that would be a really good example of, you know, earnings we could give to users that would really benefit the ecosystem, right? There's stuff in the game that we can get you to do too that would benefit the ecosystem, all of that. But yeah, that's kind of the idea. Okay, this is a good question. You previously mentioned that you're not ready to release vPIXEL for certain reasons. Are the USDC rewards at the same level of implementation? So actually, both of these things are in the game and could be released whenever we want right now. We could give out USDC rewards and we could give out vPIXEL too. The issue is inside of the game as is right now is I'm pretty sure it's a one-way door if we give out vPIXEL in the task board in other games or other side of things. I need to recheck on the offer wall. The offer wall, we might be able to give out just vPIXEL. But the reason why we haven't released vPIXEL yet is because in the game, as far as my understanding now, the way that we built it out, which is slightly unfortunate because I wanted to A/B test it and roll it out slowly, is it's all or nothing. We would basically have to change all rewards in pixels to vPIXEL right now. So, you know, if everybody voted to do that and we're like, yes, we only want vPIXEL, no normal pixel rewards, then I guess we would be down to go out and do that right now. I think it's it seems risky to do that to me right now, to like fully move to vPIXEL rewards. But yeah, if we did do that, you would still be able to get normal pixel by staking vPIXEL. So keep that in mind. It is interesting, but yeah, that's why that hasn't released. USDC rewards, we're waiting until Roars is over 1. So when return on reward spend becomes over 1, then we can start giving out USDC also. If we gave out USDC right now, we would just be burning a ton of money, right? It doesn't make sense to give it out until Roars is over 1. But if we give out 100,000 USDC as rewards, and that leads to 110,000 USDC as revenue in game, then that gets pretty interesting, right? We're cool with that.
Okay, we have 9 minutes left, and I wanted to remind you guys that we do actually have a giveaway going on right now. Hold on, let me bring up the Pixels post so you can just see it in the screen and not me yapping if you don't feel like it. But so we actually do have active Telegram channels, and we're running a giveaway right now with them. So all you have to do is join the official chat and our official announcements channel, which are linked in the Pixels post. Actually, hold on. I can just send you in chat the links also. I'll try to pin that. Oh gosh, of course it didn't send properly. That's how it works. But anyways, they're linked in the Pixels post. So make sure you go join our Telegram channels for a chance to win VIP. We are giving away 3-month coupons to chat member and subscriber to the announcement channel. And obviously come hang out. We have a pretty cool, smaller but cool community there. So okay, and now my post is just like straight up not sending. This is good. Okay, I'll figure it out somehow.
Some good questions too.
Gosh.
Okay, would you consider allowing UGC and NFT sales for Pixel, taking a cut from the game to boost Roars? Yes, 100%. That is something that's interesting. The reason why we haven't done it yet is it makes a lot more sense when there's a lot more players. It maybe would have made sense when we were at peak DAU, right? Because I think that actually would have had significant fees. So I think, well, semi-significant. I think at the peak, Pixels was doing about 6 million USD in coin volume in the marketplace every single month, right? So imagine that we had what would a 2% fee on that be? 2% of 6 million. Is that 120,000?
I'm too tired.
So I think 120,000, right? Not 12,000. But even then, like at that same time, the total revenue of the game was like 2 to 3 million a month, right? So it would have been like a 10% lift to revenue at peak, which is interesting, but it wasn't game changing enough for us to want to do it. The more effective thing was basically doing coin purchasing game. So that was why we hadn't done that originally. It was more of an economics thing and like the amount of time it would have taken to do that too. But I do think it makes sense to do something like that long run. But there were higher priority things to focus on first. That was kind of why we didn't do that at first. Like the way that we think about things is how can we get 10x improvements on what we currently have. Like still, honestly, end goal for Pixels is we want to be making sure we generate 100 million in revenue a year, right? Like that'd be a good goal to hit. So we have to work our way up there. But if you want to go from like, we did 20 million in 2024. If we want to get, we're not going to 20 million in 2025. I don't think we might get close to that across the ecosystem. But if we want to start to increase it year on year, month on month, then we need to find like 10x improvements in different areas, right? The platform stuff that we're working on could be it, right? So here's something interesting for the Pixel ecosystem and why you should also care about the tech that we're building out. Because when you think about incentives, like the team is aligned with the token, right? Like team members hold token, foundation holds the token. Like that's all I can say. We care about it. And you couldn't be human and not care about it, right? So what's interesting is the foundation can still make it so that this will be probably foundation owned tech, so that revenue generated from any of the platform stuff that we do, I'm talking about this SDK, this offer wall, can still be rewarded to Pixel stakers, right? So we all should care about it for that reason, right? Or revenue generated, foundation may decide eventually that it'd be good to do buybacks with that revenue generation. I don't know what the foundation will do, but the important thing is that like the foundation is able to help support and fund technology that really helps other users and really helps other companies and generates revenue. It's a much better spot to be in than a foundation that has nothing that's generating revenue, is what I'll say. Somebody asked, can we exchange vPIXEL to Pixel? vPIXEL will not be able to be exchanged to Pixel. No. It's one way. When is merchant ships update? It's coming soon, 2 to 4 weeks.
Same with this. 2 to 4 weeks. Couple more games coming. Actually, I was just planting the seed. This is tea, guys. This is tea. I was just in the DMs of some of our devs this morning with some ideas for maybe a themed mini game. That's all I'm going to say, because I don't know if I'm going to be able to pull it off. But there's lots of ideas and things being tossed around and built also. Can we get a boutique with very limited and rotating items for avatars? Okay. That we can buy with pixels and furniture. So we do have rotating stores. They're not in Pixel. So it might be, if that's what your ask, then we don't have that. But we do have some rotating stores with other features, right, in the Neon Zone and merchant ships and whatnot. But yeah, we can think about this. But like, what kind of things do you want in it? I guess avatar things. There's so many avatar items out there on the market, though. Anyways, we have a partner event coming up, and you're going to get an avatar outfit from that, and it's cool. It's very cool.
Nice. Somebody said, move entirely Pixel to vPIXEL, send it. I am a send it kind of person. I am like almost an it, we'll do it kind of guy. But I don't think it's the right call to do it yet. I think it would make sense if we really didn't think that we could grow pixels further, and we were like, it's a lost cause. We're gonna just like turn all rewards to vPIXEL and see what that does. But I think we can still do a lot of stuff here, and I'm still very optimistic about the future of core pixels. So it doesn't make sense to do it yet. Or the other reason to do it would be if we had like another game that was growing and like doing well, right? But we're gonna see what we can do here still. We might be able to roll it out slowly The one thing that I wanted to test, and here's why I really wanted to A/B test first, is I wanted to see how much somebody would value a pixel compared to a vPIXEL, right? And if it's close enough, then it makes sense to do, right? And there is better alignment. So yeah, when will you bring new players into the game? Yes, the idea is chapter 3. We want to see how it goes. And if we're starting to see metrics in a way that we like to, truthfully, I think what we're going to need to do is probably make a mobile companion app of Pixels. Call it Pixels Go. It might have to look a little bit different on the front end, but it would be the same. It would be the same game, just skinned a little bit differently for mobile specifically, and then we would do a bigger growth push there. Now, it's going to be easier to grow the game, or really only possible to grow the game, if we have a game that is roars over 1, basically. So that would be the goal there. Can Chapter 3, Offer Wall, all the other stuff that we're doing with tweaking earnings, get Pixels to roars over 1? If yes, then we can start scaling user base the more traditional way, which is great. If no, then we have to build out new features and kind of play around a little bit more about what we need to do there. Has Pixels Tech already shared the other games? I saw a game that will use app token. Yeah, so Fishing Frenzy will be the second app token game. No, they're not using our tech. Maybe they will eventually. We're going to keep it to ourselves for a little bit, keep it to ourselves in the ecosystem until we prove it out. What some companies end up doing, Scopely is a good example of this, is they built amazing offer wall tech with discounts. And that's how they kind of grew their own game and ecosystem. If it is really successful, sometimes it doesn't make sense to share that tech. But no, I think we will. We'll make it a platform, and we'll take rake from other games using it. But it's going to be a much easier sell when we show people, hey, we found a way to grow games with play to earn. That works. And you'd be really dumb to not use it, because we can plug this into any game and you'll be able to grow your game for way cheaper than you would doing paid UA. That's kind of the goal.
Okay. Any last things you want to bring up? Does mine every day.
I don't get the case for vPIXELs. I don't get the case for vPIXELs that Pixel doesn't fill. I mean, the use case is like vPIXEL will hopefully be, as useful as normal Pixel, but you can't sell it. So it would help the token better, right? And it would maybe filter out some of the users who are just immediately selling the token to be switched out for users who are a little bit more patient. And if they wanted to sell, they sell their staking rewards instead. And honestly, end goal would even be to make it so that staking rewards just yield USDC.
Okay. Anything else?
I think that's it. We went through a lot. I also rambled a lot today.
But like it was good. This is exactly what I said at the beginning. AMA, ask us questions.
Yeah. So my goal today was like, I really wanted to make sure that you guys understand what we're doing with this offer system, right? Because like, again, to be completely transparent, like this offer system is getting designed so that we can increase roars over 1, which means like, we are trying to, monetize. We're trying to make sure that we're giving out rewards to like a little bit more specifically than we do in the game right now too. So, some people might not like it as much. That's all right. We have to make something that works at the end of the day, right? If you guys love Pixels and you want to see it stay around, you want to see play to earn work, we have to make some changes that the as is right now, right? So we're doing it. We gave you the full scoop on what we're thinking here, and we hope that you guys all understand.
Yeah, we're not ditching Pixel. That's not the word.
No. So like Pixel, here's long term at Pixel, just so we're all on the same page. Like in a long term future, what might even happen is Pixel might become stake only. And we might stop here. Here's one scenario. I'm not saying that we're doing this. Pixel could be stake only in the long term. We might not give it out at all anymore. The only way that you'll be able to get it is buying it from an exchange and then staking it. And then you would be able to get USDC from staking your Pixel. That would be the best long-term solution, right? A few things that have to happen to make it, but that'd be very bullish for the entire ecosystem if we pull that off.
I don't even know what this means, but I'm here for it. I think we can just wrap it up on this one. Perfect. Decentralized Bob coming in hot. Okay. Thank you guys for coming out, asking all your questions. And yeah, we're glad you guys like all of our recent updates and whatnot. But yeah, cool. We will see you guys next week. Bye, guys.